Are you planning to study abroad? Do you have in mind to study in Scotland? Hi, and thank you for joining this live stream study at International College Robert Gordon University, Aberdeen, in Scotland. If you are interested in studying foundation programs, pathways, or undergraduate programs, pathways for postgraduate programs at International College Robert Gordon University, Aberdeen, this live stream is for you. My name is Hugo Bustamante. I'm recruitment manager for Global Studies. Global Studies is an educational agency which helps you to apply to different destinations like the UK, US, Canada, Australia, Germany, France, Spain, Denmark, Lithuania, Holland, Ireland, Malta, Cyprus, Scotland, and many destinations. You just have to contact us. Don't forget to follow us in our social media. You can find us as Global Studies UK. You can follow us in Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, in TikTok, and you will know about the different options we have for you, the different institutions with which we are working with, and all these options. You can contact us using our WhatsApp number, our email address to ask for your free guidance session. Don't forget to follow us. And today we will be talking with Suzie Anderson. She's Director of Marketing and Admission at International College Robert Gordon University, Aberdeen. Hi, Suzie, how are you?
I'm great, Hugo. Thanks so much for having me today.
It's a pleasure to have you here with us. And Suzie, we have a short video to introduce your institution. Please, we will go to the video.
Excellent.
Well, Susie, that is just a short introduction, and I know that you have a lot of information to share with us. So your presentation is ready. Please go ahead and tell us about Robert Gordon University.
I'd love to. Thank you so much for the warm welcome, Hugo. And I hope that the video gave you a little bit of an insight into what it's like studying here in Scotland at the Robert Gordon University in the Northeast in Aberdeen. So today I'm going to tell you all about Robert Gordon University and some of our fantastic study options. But let's have a look into the university itself. We were ranked Scottish University of the Year in 2021. What a fantastic accomplishment and ranking that we have. And we want to let you know that this is something we're going to shout loud about. Robert Gordon University has historically been top Scottish university, top modern university, but this one really is a fantastic achievement for us. And we want to spread that with all of our students for awareness. Some of the reasons why we have been ranked so highly is because of many different outcomes. This includes items such as student satisfaction. Robert Gordon University actually ranks in the top 10 in the UK for happy students. Students that are satisfied with their course content, their lecturer feedback, and the quality of teaching that we provide here. We've been also ranked in the same year the top modern university for student experience. This is from the Times Good University Guide, one of the top rankings that they can find in the UK. And we're also second in Scotland for teaching quality. So, yet again, we have these fantastic accolades from our students telling us that they truly love studying in Scotland at Robert Gordon University. And that's what we find so important, to know that our students are happy and content and they're enjoying their programs and remain with us all the way through their undergraduate and postgraduate degrees. Another reason that we're probably ranked highly with this Scottish University of the Year is our outstanding employability outcomes. So, Robert Gordon University has a long history of top graduate employability. We've actually ranked higher than Cambridge and Oxford for many years. We are now currently the third in the UK for employability. We're the top modern university for graduate prospects, second in the UK from graduate employment rates, and we're also top 10 in the UK for connections to industry and high quality facilities, both of which support our employability rankings. We're also ranked globally 27th in the world for our graduate employability. So not only are our students happy studying here, but also their outcomes when they finish and they graduate are so much better than other institutions across the UK, as we have such fantastic industry relevant programs. So let's look a little bit into Robert Gordon University. You can see from some of the images here and some of the ones I'm going to show you in just a moment that this is a modern university. This is a university that is relevant for industry. Our main focus is to ensure that students are work ready before they graduate. We want to ensure that our students have hands on experience. We want to make sure that they have had opportunities to interact with industry leaders, as well as some of the amazing industries that are right here in Aberdeen. Not only do we get to shout about our fantastic modern facilities that our students can use, we have a long historical history. So we were actually made up many, many years ago, hundreds of years ago, in fact, by a merchant who wanted to create a teaching hospital. And over the courses of many years, going through becoming a polytechnic to then becoming a university in 1992, this is a beautiful modern campus based in the riverside area of Aberdeen. You can probably see in some of the images below some of the areas on campus, including the beautiful River Dee, which I'll show you again shortly. So we've got this great long history of modern degrees and vocational programs. They're top ranking. So we've mentioned a few of those ranking earlier on in terms of student satisfaction and employability, but also we have fantastic outcomes for our actual programs, including top ranking courses in architecture, pharmacy, physiotherapy, media. There's lots of great accolades that our university really wants to shout about. And as I mentioned before, we're consistently ranked highly for our graduate employability, as that's the reason that most students go to university, to have a fantastic, phenomenal study experience and then get the great job from when they graduate. We do that by providing our students access to all of the facilities that they need during their studies. Here's just some of the facilities that we have on our campus, and I'll show you some more of the images shortly. But we give students the opportunity to have hands on experience from the very beginning of their program. We have pharmacy students making tablets in their pharmacy labs. We've got them also prescribing in our pharmacy simulation center. We've got lots of opportunities for students to really take part in their programs. Excuse me. We also have in there outstanding facilities, for example, our physiotherapy clinics, our food handling labs, all the way to our TV and radio suite, our moot courts and fashion place for students to go and get that hands on practical experience. Never mind that, we've also got all of our Grays School of Art facilities, which are phenomenal. Photography studios, jewellery making areas, printmaking suites, and knitting rooms. There are lots of facilities that our students get their hands on all the way through their undergraduate and postgraduate programs. Let's see the campus. Let's have a look around. So here you can see in the green building in the top two pictures is our beautiful library. This library is divided into subject, so you can go to your school and you can find all your subject material on one floor. There are specialist librarians there to help you to ensure that you can find all of the things that you need for your program to study. You can see here as well, it's super modern, it's bright, and it's a one campus environment. Right beside the river, you can see we're right on the river. You can walk along here to the city centre, and you can even paddle board if you want to go to the city centre. I do recommend a wetsuit for that. The campus environment is in the south of the city. So, what's great is we have buses that connect every day to take you to class so that you can come on campus and study your program in peace here without distraction. It also means that instead of having to rush around and get from campus to campus, you can walk easily between your classes. And in fact, our schools are designed for people to stay in the same program and in the same building. So you have access to everything you need in one place. I'm going to take you on a bit of a visual tour of some of the facilities that I spoke about before. You can see here that we really want to make sure that our students get to use the equipment from day one. So we have anything from our engineering, wind and wave technology lab, our architecture studios where students have access to their own space so that you can create their own design area for the year. We have drilling platforms and decommissioning platforms for our oil and gas specialism courses, as there is a lot of oil and gas here in Aberdeen. That's one of the main industries in the northeast of Scotland. So, again, you can see our students really get hands on during their studies. I mentioned a little bit before about the library that you can see here with some of the best views of Aberdeen City and Shire. You've got the areas for food canteens. You've got the great photography suite, which I love, down at the bottom of the picture with all of the students creating some great imagery. Physiotherapy labs. We've got pharmacy labs, and all of that great space that you can see our students are using. Anything for our physiotherapy and nursing students. There's lots of radiography equipment as well. And we also provide lots of extra support for students. In the central image, you can see our employability and professional enrichment. That includes our career team, and that's the team that will help our students in order to gain placement opportunities, update their CV, practice their interview skills, or even get some support during their coursework for their English language. So we are designed with the students in mind. Everything on our campus is designed to support students with the best possible equipment, facilities, and people to help them succeed in their studies. You probably want to have a look at the campus yourself. So there is a great virtual tour available. You can even put on your Google headset and take a virtual tour around the classrooms and look around and experience what it's like to study in Scotland. We really have some phenomenal equipment here and some great, great facilities for our students to use. I've talked a little bit about Aberdeen, but maybe you haven't heard of it before. Maybe you don't know where Aberdeen is located. So let's have a quick look at where we are in the UK. So Aberdeen is located in the northeast of Scotland. So we are about just over 1 hour, 1 hour and 15-minute flight from London Heathrow. So you can connect via plane to London very easily. But we also have an international airport here in Aberdeen, which connects us to the rest of the world. So we travel via Amsterdam or Paris, and that can connect us, and of course, London can connect us across the planet. The reason that we have such a great international airport is due to our oil and gas connections here in Aberdeen. We have a very affluent industry that is connected globally with companies having their European headquarters here in Aberdeen. That includes companies such as Shell, Total, BP, Schlumberger, ConocoPhillips. There are many, many companies that are based here. In fact, Shell is one of the largest employers of RGU graduates historically. So we have some fantastic employment outcomes that you can enjoy. Let's have a little look around the city as well. So you can see here we have some of our images from across the city, including Aberdeen Football Club, some of our beach spaces, as well as some of our students who have studied with us before. I want to show you a little bit about the feeling of studying in Scotland. So, Aberdeen City is the best of both worlds. We are a city location with all of the facilities that you need: a train station, an airport, supermarkets, shopping malls. But we also have the history and the space that Scotland enjoys. So, you can see here anything from castles to the city centre to our beautiful beach location. Within about 20 minutes out of Aberdeen, you will be in fresh Scottish countryside. So imagine your Instagram right now. Your Instagram is going to blow up when you start to explore what's on your doorstep when you come to Scotland. Our fantastic cities such as Edinburgh and Glasgow, as well as Aberdeen, of course, our history and our fantastic culture with that castles, with at least a castle you can visit every weekend. We have over 300 of them here in Aberdeenshire. We have live music events with big bands visiting Aberdeen often now with our fantastic new P&J live arena. We also have great connections across Scotland if you want to go and visit the Isle of Skye or Edinburgh, or you want to go and see the Kelpies in Fife, or you, of course, you want to visit the North Coast 500, which is really famous internationally now with some fantastic views and experiences for students to enjoy. When you're thinking about location, and I know you'll go and Google now of what it looks like to study in Scotland, you're probably considering things like the cost of living and how to prepare to study abroad as an international student. Well, I wanted to give you an idea. Studying in Aberdeen is actually one of the number one in the UK for affordability. That means that we actually can provide students a very low cost of living with a high quality of living during their study experience. We have fantastic opportunities for apartments to rent, as well as, of course, our great RGU accommodation that I'll point out to you shortly. We also are ranked one of the happiest cities. I don't know if you can tell. We're very happy here. Aberdeen is the happiest city in the UK to live and work. Our availability of jobs is high, and our earnings are higher than most of the rest of the UK. Aberdeen is a cosmopolitan and creative place. It's got people from across the world studying and living here. There are over 16,000 students that call Aberdeen home. So we have the best of both worlds with student prices, but also fantastic quality of living in terms of our jobs with great nightlife, live music, culture, restaurants. We have great Highland games. But we also have beautiful sandy beaches and picturesque mountains that you can come and explore and enjoy during your studies. It's not stressful to study here because the cost of living is low, but the quality of living is high. So you're able to relax and focus on your studies, as well as have the opportunity to travel and enjoy your study experience in the UK. We've broken down some of the more popular costs that you might want to consider when you're budgeting for study abroad. Now, of course, these vary from person to person. If you are taking rent on a beautiful four-bedroom home, your rent's not going to be as cheap as you think it is. There are different options that start from around about £100 per week. But there's also lots of fantastic private options available throughout the city. The city is very safe, so you can choose anywhere to stay and you would be easily transported to the university every day. There's another thing in here that I want to point out is for any of you that like sports, RGU has a very, very active sports community with all of the different RGU union sporting groups available, from football, volleyball, skiing, to Quidditch and Harry Potter. There's lots of different groups available. But the RGU sport is actually free for our students. So our students can enjoy and keep fit during their studies. There's no charge this year for students to join RGU sport to make use of their fantastic swimming pool, workout areas, and classes as well. There's also different costs to consider in terms of eating out, keeping in contact with your mum and dad, having your mobile phone and your data topped up. But those options vary, and we can always point out students to the cheapest possible option so that you can relax and be stress free about how much it costs to study in the UK. There's a couple of things that we want to compare to so that you have an idea of how much things can cost across the country. So, when we compare the cost of rent at the moment, you could get a one-bedroom apartment in the city centre for around about £450 per month for rent. You can compare that to some of the other cities in the UK. You can immediately see the cost of living difference to studying here in Aberdeen. What we actually do is we see a lot of people live in Aberdeen and visit London. So we come and they live in Aberdeen and we earn our money in Aberdeen, but we spend it in London when we go to visit if we want to go out and enjoy different cities across the UK. But you've also got another comparison there, mid range with Manchester too. So you can see some of the variations in the potential cost throughout. That gives you an idea when you're budgeting. We have a great cost of living blog that will help you on the RGU website if you are looking into those finances, which are really important when deciding where to study. I mentioned a little bit about accommodation earlier on. So, RGU has 5 different options that are connected with the university. They are for students only. So it's great. You will learn and meet lots of new people. So Woolman Hill Flats, for example, has over 700 bedrooms and lots of students there. Really vibrant, great community, and lots of activities going on and social events. We have locations across the city. So Garth D Towers, one of the first ones at the top of the page, is actually located on the campus, all the way to those in the city centre, which are about 20 minutes away or so. Remember, RGU accommodation actually includes all of your extra costs. So it includes heating and electricity, it includes your internet to make sure you can stay connected and stream from Netflix. But you can also, you don't have to worry about your rent each month. It's always going to cover all of your bills. But of course, if you need support looking for a private accommodation, we can also help you with that and give you guidance on that. You'll be staying in accommodation if you choose RGU. You're going to be sharing with people from all over the world, but you'll also be sharing with local Scottish and English students. Lots of European students choose to go into our accommodation. So you'll get to meet people from across Scotland and across the world. It's a great opportunity when you first travel to a new environment to meet lots of like minded people who are just starting out their studies here in Aberdeen. There's also Fresh Student Living, which is directly across from the campus, and it has some beautiful accommodation that opened in 2020. Lots of different private apartments and areas for you to enjoy, including a cinema space. And you can also obviously use the kitchens throughout to cook food with each other and get to know your roommates as well. Really great options for you to choose from across Aberdeen. So let's talk about some of the programs that are available when you're looking. If you see one that you like, let me know at the end if there's something you're interested in. But we have different entry points here at Robert Gordon University. We've even got Foundation and Pathway International first year. So we offer them into lots of different programs from pharmacy, physiotherapy to nursing and biomedical sciences. These are great programs. They're offered at the School of Pharmacy and Health Sciences and the School of Health Sciences as well. They're foundation entry, which means you study for an extra 2 semesters and then you're guaranteed entry into year one. The university obviously also has year one entry, and I can tell you a little bit about that later. But some of these are top ranking programs. For example, the physiotherapy, dietetics, occupational therapy, and diagnostic radiography were all ranked in the top two for health sciences across the past year. So they have some fantastic accolades and are in very high demand, as you know. We also offer first year entry at the International College and at Robert Gordon University, covering all the rest and all the other options on the campus, from accounting to architecture. We cover them all. We've got lots of programs that are really exciting and are really specific with hands on experience as well. I've mentioned it a few times. It's so important for us to give you hands on experience and those real life projects and placements. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Robert Gordon University really prides itself on. Not only do we help you with preparing for a career and interviewing and getting your CV ready, but we also help you secure placements. So, Robert Gordon University's undergraduate programs, over 90% of them offer the opportunity to do a placement. Now, that placement is part of your studies. Here in Scotland, we all study for 4 years for our undergraduate degrees. So you'll either enter ICRGU or RGU for your first year, progress into the second year at Robert Gordon University, and then during your third year, you might choose to go and do a work placement. This is where you apply and you get a job and you work for a year and you're assessed on your working year. It means that you can go out and get that real life exposure. We have had some of our former students go on to do amazing things during their third year, with former students taking part in placements in helicopter companies, to those that have moved down to London for the year to work for IBM and Xerox. We've also had students stay locally in Aberdeen and work within the oil and gas industry. So it's a really exciting time for students to take place in placements and get real work experience. Now, you then return to ICRGU, or sorry, I beg your pardon, to Robert Gordon for your final year and you receive your degree award. So you can choose. You can stay in the classroom if you wish and you don't want to apply for work placements. But if you do want to apply for them, you can go out and get that real life experience. There are interviews required for them because they are paid positions. And some students have in the past earned up to £22,000 for their placement year. They've also maybe continued to work part time during their final year for the company, meaning that when they graduate, they have up to 2 years' experience when they finish. There's some benefits to this experience. It allows you to learn professional skills, it allows you to put what you've learned in the classroom into practice. It also allows you to earn money. As I mentioned, some of those salaries from around about 16,000 upwards, you can earn that money during your placement year. It shows that you're ready to go into a world of work and be responsible. It also allows you to get to know the people in the industry. So if you want to make those connections for when you graduate and are looking to get a job, it's great to build that network. It allows you to save money because during that year you only pay a £1,500 admin fee. There's reduced course fees for the placement year because you're not in a classroom, and it gives you a chance to save. It allows you to earn great skills and experience building your CV, but it also means that you are unique. It means that you have built a fantastic CV during your studies so that when you go out and you go for your interview and you want to impress the employer, you can tell them you already have a year's worth of experience. So I can show you some of the courses that offer this opportunity, and I'll let you know about them as we go through. So the accounting and finance program is a very popular course with Michelle. It does take in a lot of our accounting and finance students. There's also all of the programs on this page offer the paid placement opportunity. So if you want to study fashion management, why wouldn't you look for a fantastic placement for London Fashion Week, let's say, and go down there and do your placement for the year? Or if you want to work in hospitality, Scotland has some of the biggest brands in the world. We even have options before from Buckingham Palace have offered us positions to advertise to our students. Gleneagles golf courses and some of the most famous international hospitality options are based here. We also even have Donald Trump has his hotel and golf club here, which is obviously internationally very famous. Students that want to study management and international business management absolutely have these options too, and they can go into business advisor roles or management advisor roles within a multitude of different industries. So there's a wide selection within the Aberdeen Business School and the School of Creative and Cultural Business. These are the programs that really offer that placement opportunity. We also offer options within the engineering program. So these are for our students that will do an engineering program specifically going through mechanical and electrical programs and even some offshore programs that includes a lot of the oil and gas industry. There are some placements during these as well available, shorter duration for some of them, and they are on an apply only basis. But again, with the oil and gas industry on our doorstep, what a fantastic opportunity for you to do that. We also have the Master of Architecture program starting from year one. It's a 6-year degree program. But during year five, students go out and they get their experience. Stream 4 and 5, they go and get their experience working as an architect's assistant. And that again is a fantastic option for students to have that experience and also gain the accreditation to be an architect. The quantity surveying and commercial management as well has the option of a 3rd-year placement. So you can tell these are really important to us to make sure that we give students that real life exposure during their studies. The hottest topics right now are probably within our School of Computing, and the School of Computing options, 2 options at the International College and RGU, computer science, and also a really popular program nowadays is cybersecurity. They do have placement opportunities during the summer, and you can also do an additional year for a placement opportunity if you so wish, some of which are paid too. So again, we really want to make sure that you're getting that hands-on experience. Lastly, we also have our art and design program. So, year one entry into fantastic outcomes. So, a contemporary art practice covering illustration, graphic design. We've got 3D dimensional design, fashion and textiles being a really popular program too. Again, all of these have placement opportunities that you can apply for. We have some really well-known brands up here in Scotland, including Harris Tweed, Johnson's of Elgin, and some of those big providers of textiles internationally. Scotland does have a background of that. Very popular tartan that we have. So there are lots of connections to the industry, and students can go in to lots of different retail areas and lots of different fields in order to get that hands-on placement during their studies. I've spoken a lot about the undergraduate program, But we also have opportunities for students that want to do their masters. So we have a couple of options. At the International College, we offer a pre-master's program, which is a 10-week program for students that have third class degrees or ordinary degrees that want to go into over 30 MSc programs. This program is designed for people who might need that extra help in order to go up into the MSc level of study. That includes additional English language if that's required, or just preparing for those study skills that you might need during your MSc, preparing for your dissertation, your research skills, and also preparing to be a very proactive, critical thinking postgraduate student. So, we do offer lots of options across the university from computing, conversion courses, construction project management, engineering, law, and more, with students coming from a variety of backgrounds. I've mentioned a lot about placements, and we absolutely have those available as well at our MSc level, where students can gain valuable short term exposure to whichever their MSc is in. And even at the International College, we have students that come and do their placement with us in order to gain that valuable experience. So I'll go back a little bit to the entry requirements. So the Robert Gordon University has ourselves the International College for undergraduate, offering foundation, year one, and pre-masters. So when you're coming from high school, you're going to be given a couple of options. That depends on your academic entry requirements. So you'll either come from high school into the International College for the start of your program and then progress into Robert Gordon University for your degree, or you'll start directly at Robert Gordon University. We recommend that you apply for the entry point that you're suitable for, and if you're not successful, we'll direct you to the right place. So the team at Global Studies will be able to help you with that and give you guidance on what is the right entry point for you. To give you an idea, we have a variety of different entry requirements. We consider every single application. So we will look at every application and we will give you the advice based on the results that you have given us. Some programs do require you to have previous knowledge. For example, pharmacy students should have chemistry and maths. Engineering students, we're looking for maths and physics. There are a few subjects that do have that requirement. So you can see some of them listed on the side here. So have a look. If there's a subject you're interested in from my presentation earlier, you can see potentially some of the requirements for your program. To give you an idea, we do have an English language requirement, and it's usually the equivalent of an IELTS 5.5 with no band below 5.5. That's for the international college entry. We'll give you extra support in your English language before you move over to the university to be sure that you are prepared and ready for your program. But this gives you an indication of what is the entry requirement for your program. So hopefully you've learned lots about. I've introduced you a little bit to our programs and to our university so that you can see what a fantastic option studying in Scotland is. This picture was taken last week at graduation in the sunshine, and it shows you, where you could be in just a few years' time. So I am delighted to be here today, and I want to thank you so much for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much, Hugo.
Thank you, Susie, for your time and for all this information that is really important and valuable for all the people that are interested in studying in Scotland. And yes, we do have some questions, please. Could you tell us, please, how many intakes during the year has the International College Robert Gordon University in Aberdeen?
Absolutely. So we have two undergraduate intakes per year. The first one starting in September 26th this year. That's for undergraduate programs. The next one is then available in January. So that will be the end of January, where we'll welcome both ICRGU and RGU international year one students into the campus. We then have three postgraduate entry points in February, June, and October. So there's always an alternative option for students if they're late or they've been waiting to get their results or they're delayed in any way. We've got plenty of entry points for them.
No, thank you. And Susie, could you please tell us what English exams are accepted for International College Robert Gordon University, Aberdeen?
What's great is that ICRGU, the International College, and RGU work together, which means we can accept a huge variety of English language requirements. Anything from IELTS, like I mentioned before, where you can accept both academic and UKVI IELTS, to some high school examinations are exempt. If, for example, you have students who have undertaken their high school in the USA or have any of their residency there, we can also exempt those. So we do accept a variety: TOEFL, Pearson's, IBT. We accept also IELTS, and any of the secure English language testing is available. There are some which are exempted from high school. I wouldn't be able to list those as there are many. However, we advise you, if you think you have a level of English language appropriate, let us know, and then we can guide you. If you do require an English language test, we can provide you with that online as well.
Thank you, Susie. And could you please tell us about the scholarship schemes that are available for LATAM students?
Of course, we've got a wide variety of scholarships. So there are some for our foundation students. They are eligible for a £3,000 discount on their progression to Robert Gordon University. RGU is very generous with their scholarships, and so we always want to make sure we tell our students about any that are available. There are also scholarships available for pre-master students as they progress into Robert Gordon University. Up to £2,000 is discounted from their MSc. There are alternative ones available too. Once a student gets to unconditional offer letter and is preparing to pay, we will advise them of any scholarships available to them. Some of them vary between £500 all the way up to £1,000 off their ICRGU studies. So we make sure our students are aware of that at the point that they reach unconditional offer letter, so that they know that they can apply that day and they will receive that scholarship for their ICRGU studies.
Thank you, Susie. And the other question is about the accommodation. How long in advance is good for the students to do the reserves for the accommodation and do the application for the university to avoid issues with accommodation?
Yeah, what's great about Aberdeen is that they've really put lots and lots of investment in place in student accommodation. With two major universities existing within the city, we've made sure that there is plenty space for everyone. So RGU have its own spaces. As you saw from my presentation, some of them are a little bit smaller and they're designed for postgraduate students or families. And then we have lots of spaces available within Woolman Hill, for example, and some of the larger buildings that we have. During the process, an unconditional offer letter, you will be provided with an RGU ID. That's for ICRGU students and RGU students because they all go into the same places. So when you receive that number, you will then receive an email from the university inviting you to apply for their accommodation, where the student will rank their preferred location and their preferred rooms, and then the university will allocate them to them. Now, there's lots of options, so please don't be worried. We have students that are booking them up throughout the year. And once you get to that unconditional offer stage, that's when we want to be sure that you're able to make an application nice and early, and we will give them guidance on that. Not only is there RGU accommodation, but there's lots of private providers here in Aberdeen, and they're private student accommodation. So they're designed for students in mind. So we also can refer you to those and let students know about those options, as they can be great for students that are looking for that inclusive student environment when they first move to a new country.
Thank you, Susie. And the other question is about, well, it is good to remember for all the students what would be the difference between studying in a Scottish university, such as International College Robert Gordon University, and studying in another British universities.
That's a really great question, Hugo. So you probably noticed from my presentation, in Scotland, we study a 4-year undergraduate program. The reason that we do that is because we can build in these fantastic placements, we can build in lots of specialism, lots of really practical work environments and projects. So all of us study what is a 4-year degree program. In England, you will find that they have a 3-year degree program for the majority of their courses in the universities, but their placements are usually separated and they usually are an additional year, or they're potentially where they have to add on time to their visa. So, RGU and Robert Gordon University are very much like American institutions or Australian institutions that offer the 4-year, meaning that students get a really full and rounded education. So, they have more time to get more exposure in their field and really specialize and gain that extra knowledge. So, yeah, it does come with some extra time, but it really gives you extra experience and that boost when it comes to when you graduate.
That is an important point to have in mind when you are talking about this experience of building experience for the
Yeah,
students.
and
That is really
some of the foundation programs provided in England, that does make the program 4 years. So when a student studies a foundation plus a 3-year degree program, it's the same amount of time as a Scottish one. So you'll get year one entry for the majority of our programs too.
Thank you, Susie. And what this is other question. What are the average costs for studying the undergraduate or postgraduate for international students and European students?
So there's actually a difference. As you know, when Europe, there was a change in the UK very recently in terms of Brexit. And so that has changed the funding in place for EU students. So we have two lines of fees, the first one being EU fees. EU fees at Robert Gordon University and the International College range from £5,750 to £6,750. So that's a very small range, but it gives you an idea of the amount in pounds for the EU students. For our international students, the fees vary between about £13,000 to £15,000 for the undergraduate programs. So you can tell there's quite a big difference there between the two of them, but RGU provides students with that transition fee for EU for the duration of their studies.
Yes, Susie, and that is important to have that information in mind for the students. And Susie, could you please tell us about um, does the university offers internships when the students are studying certain degrees? You were talking about this, the opportunities the students have, yes?
Yes, absolutely. That's a big, big part of what we do here. So,
Hmm.
we're really keen to give students that real life experience. And so, we offer it across 90% of our undergraduate programs and about 70% of our postgraduate programs. So, we have them varying from a couple of months all the way through to a full year. So, students will really get that exposure and get that experience on their CV. We've had some great examples of that with some former students. So it's something that we really look forward to telling our students about.
Susie, those are all the questions that we have by now. And really, I want to thank you for all the time that you gave us, all this information that is really important for the students that want to study with you, with your institution. And this is the an excellent option to remember all the people that if you want to apply to international to study with International College Robert Gordon University Aberdeen in Scotland, we are ready to help you with all your application process. Our team is happy to guide you with all the process, and Susie will help us also
Mhm.
with your application. So this is a moment to make come true your dreams. If you are dreaming with your university career, with postgraduate programs, don't wait. This is the moment to apply, and we will be happy to help you. Mm, Thank you, Susie, for your help today, and all the people that was with us today. And we will be happy to be with you in another live stream.
Thank you so much, Hugo. It's a pleasure.
A pleasure, and bye, bye, everybody.